You're listening to That's Why You're Blocked podcast.
Hey, this is Carson Bailey just popping in to give a quick trigger warning and disclaimer. We briefly discussed domestic violence and sexual assault in this episode. Welcome back to That's Why You're Blocked podcast. I'm Carson Bailey.
And I'm Chanel Shots.
So this episode's going to be a little different. First off, as always, we want to thank you guys for listening. Mm-hmm. It means so much to us. So we're just going to kind of jump straight into the shit that comes through our phone. You know, our first segment. All right, so as I find the screenshot.
Set it up. All right, so the reason why this episode is going to be a little different because we're noticing that we're getting some real wild / outlandish messages coming through our phone, and it's based off of this podcast. So guys, like, just to let y'all know, like, all the stuff, none of this is lies. Like, everything we talk about is true. Unfortunately, like, all of these things, fortunately and unfortunately, funnily, whatever, all these things have actually happened to us. However, that does not mean that we ready to bust it wide open for anyone every day of the week.
All right, so here it is. So this is from a potential, I guess, quote unquote NFL prospect.
How tall is he, Carson?
My good man's is, I don't think he's taller than 5'10", but we'll get into that. All right, so essentially, right, he hits me up and it's like, where'd it go? I just heard it. He was like, I want to directly quote him. Give me a second.
But is this before or after you hung out with him?
We never really hung out. You guys didn't hear that episode, but so to backtrack a little bit, we've been recording contact, honestly, nonstop since the end of September. You guys have only gotten 7 episodes so far because we want to make sure we're giving out quality. We've had some learning curves with, like, the mic, understanding how to record and upload. That's been a thing. As well, I've had some computer hardware issues. I use my laptop for this, so we've had some issues. But dang, like, why do we have so many screenshots between us?
It's a lot of wild shit that happened.
Oh, here we go. All right, so he texts me, right? He's like, "How do you talk all that on your podcast and not be about it in real life?" Right? And of course, me being the bitch that I am, my first thing is easy. Easy as hell, bro. Like, what the fuck? Bam. I'm like, I do what I want. And I'm like, I don't know you. I don't have to, like, just pull up. You pull up in my mom's house at 11, 12 o'clock at night. What?
Like, what were you really expecting to happen?
And then I'm like, bro, I don't really know you. You know me enough now. We've met. I'm not crazy or weird, so what's good? One, right? I don't know that. And I guess the thing that I would like you guys to really understand is women's fear aren't for nothing, right? If you look up the statistics, like 1 in 3 women, 1 in 4 women our age will be raped at least once in their lifetime. Like, that's, I don't know you.
Scary.
That's like, this is not like a made up statistic. This is a fact. So,
and even like just with like rape or domestic violence or anything like that, some of y'all just really be tripping, like, off of a no.
Yeah.
Like, women, like, are not required to do shit for you.
And, okay, all right, we weren't going to get into this, but just because you say it nicely does not mean I have to.
Yes, because you are a quote-unquote nice guy does not mean anything. Thank you for being a productive member of society. I am so happy for you that you don't rape people. I am so happy that you don't put your hands on people. Do you want a fucking cookie?
They want to fuck your cookie. That's what it is. Yeah, but we're getting off topic because the majority of this episode is not even supposed to be about that. But if you guys want to hear us rant about how much niggas ain't shit, like, I've been ready. that thing's TTG ready to go. But
been ready. We slow walk y'all because, like, men seem to be the audience members.
And we really appreciate that. Don't get us wrong.
Yes.
And, it's just our perspective. And, like, not that you asked, but you're listening. Right?
Exactly. So if you're listening, then obviously, you do want to hear the perspective. And I think that's the kind of feedback that we've gotten from guys. Like, it is the women's perspective, and not like the traditional like women like, oh yeah, I'm just, if I get somebody,
we like
sex, dating, relationships, everything that comes with it. It's not just for male consumption and pleasure.
Like understand that the things that you guys are urges, and we have those as well. Like you want to get some real game, like ovulation pussy is different. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't know about that, bro, like you gotta get hip, okay? like there's some levels to everything. Mm-hmm. Like that's some real freakiness, but
the freakiest woman. That's what we say.
Is a comfortable woman.
Period.
Just make her comfortable. All right, so we want to talk about this podcast.
So I also had shit that came through my phone.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're good. So it wasn't as bad. And mind you, I kind of like this guy. I don't know if he listens anymore, but the escalation in my DMs went from like, oh, I listened to like, oh, we should fuck now. And it was like, well,
that's happened to me a few times.
Damn, and this. That's another reason why we wanted to do this particular podcast, to like show off a different side of us, because that openly sexual side is not the only side. And what we're really going to get into, as well as how our views on like our standards and what we're looking for in the coming new year is like based off this podcast, and like where we are now versus where we are when we started, some things we've realized.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is to understand that us hoes right here, we got feelings too.
Right.
And women can enjoy sex, right? And relationships, right? And like other things. And we're not monolith. We can do and have more than one thing. We can enjoy sex. We can enjoy our family. We can have a nice job. We can do all of that.
Yes, and women can also enjoy sex and not want to fuck you.
Oh, okay. That might have to be the clip. That's the clip.
Women can have sex and not want to fuck you, bruh. And I want to put some of our male listeners, because I really appreciate them, on some real game. If you try it with the woman and she says no, you don't have to wait for her to scream. Like, she says no, respect her no. If you respect it, and I don't mean respect it as in you're faking it, like you have a fake ass persona just to get some pussy, but if you really do respect it,
people really gonna have to have a nigga's age. This is kind of, all right. We're gonna have to dial it back.
All right. I'm gonna get through my point, and then we'll continue. Yes. So if you really respect it, the next time you don't try it, if she wanted to, she's gonna try it. Or the next time you do try it on like some slight shit, like you didn't even come as hard as you did the first time, she's going to hop up on it because you are respectful. And sad as that is, that's not common for you to like actually respect when a woman is just like, nah, I'm good. And not have an attitude. So yeah, so you can respect it, but not have an attitude afterwards. Not want to be like, all right, well, can I drop you off afterwards? Like, just continue the night as normal. She's going to want it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys don't have to give it up so easy as well.
Right, keep dick expensive. Damn.
It's like y'all make it real easy.
Too easy.
Yeah,
if a woman can't talk to you for a month, she hits you up and you like, yeah, let's go. I mean, respect yourself. Love yourself.
Respect yourself.
Please. All right, let's
we
go
like
ahead.
the chase. But yeah, we kind of getting a little bit off topic. We really want to get into this podcast and just kind of like a breakdown of us, how we came about this, what this is about, where we see it going, and all that stuff. All right, so as we kind of mentioned in the first episode, even though the audio wasn't great, mind you, we recorded that like 3 times before we uploaded it. Main thing is we didn't know how close to be with the mics. We're still learning. At least I am. Like the place that we are recording at, like the sound and all that stuff. So we are growing with this podcast, with our knowledge and stuff. Like, I recently bought chalk foam. I left it, but like I bought it. So hopefully the audio will get better. And the real goal of mine is to get 1,000 downloads on our podcast. So really, please share this so that I can have an excuse to buy new equipment and new mics.
So let's take it back to September. Let's take it back from the beginning. I'm guessing most of our stories actually start after. No, most of our stories are before we started the podcast.
Yes.
We haven't had any, I don't think we've had any like wild experiences since September that we've shared.
On the podcast? No.
Yes,
no.
Right. So what happened in September? Because this was your idea. So like what happened in September? Like why were you feeling this?
So I had like Really? All right. So I think I kind of have like quarter-esque once, probably every 2 to 3 months, like a mental breakdown.
Like a quarter life crisis.
But like quarter yearly crisis.
Interesting. Each quarter, each season.
Yeah, there's probably like at least one.
Okay.
And I think I had a really, how do I want to say this? In July I had like a really bad like weekend, and this year had not been going the way I wanted to, and it's kind of like allegory to my life. Like these past few years have not been where I wanted, and I felt very stifled because of the whole pandemic and everything going on. It's been several months at this point. I'm not necessarily making better decisions. It's just, I wanted to do something. Like I kind of needed to create something to like make like something I enjoyed doing to fill my time. Don't have the job that I did have, even though I didn't like it. It was still a job. Like I'm still on the job search now. And then when we would talk, we were like, we gotta put this shit somewhere. Like this is some like, what the fuck we be going through?
Hollywood could not write the shit that happens between Chanel and Carson.
And so I think the thing is, I wanted a place to put it, to put some content up, and I wanted to share the stories because I'm like, it can't just be us.
It can't be.
But being honest, I don't know. I kind of obsess over the numbers because I have like the passwords to everything. And so I look like every day, every few hours, see if any more people download. But like when I really think about it, we've had a lot of people listen in such a short amount of time because it's what we did at the end of September. So it's really like October, November,
like just
December.
Slightly over 2 months.
Yeah, it's like slightly 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
This is a podcast is slightly 3 months old. So when you think of it like that, we've kind of grown a lot very quickly. But it is kind of hard because, like I said, I look at the numbers like every day. Like I'm never shocked. So when we hit like a milestone by like 100 or 50, I'll normally send it to her. But like I'm watching like every day.
So when she came up with the idea of this podcast, similar to the sex party, she's like, "You want to do this?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah. So the first episode. Well, the first two we recorded because we had one that didn't go out. We didn't like enough to upload.
Right.
We were borrowing equipment.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a name.
We were recording without a name.
Yes.
For like a week or two.
Well, a few weeks. We didn't have a name. And so even coming up with a name, that's when we got to give a big shout out to Crystal.
From last episode. Y'all, episode 7 is my favorite so far. So if you all have not listened, go ahead, do yourself a flavor and listen because that one
You're
is
really
hilarious.
trying to make flavor work.
I am. It's French or English. Is that what's in Mean Girls?
What?
Remember, she's like, you keep trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
She said it's like English, but like slang, something like that.
Oh, okay. I mean,
in school, you get it out.
I was gonna say you got it, Holmes. But so what happened was, all right. So we decided to make a podcast, and we kind of knew the things that we wanted to talk about, but we didn't know what to call it. We had a list of like 8 names. And
do we have some of the names that we were thinking about?
There was Mishaps and Moscato.
Young and the Reckless.
Don't steal these names in case this shit don't work out and we want to rebrand. All right, so like
there was something
well-dressed mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
was I bought graphic art for that.
You did?
Yes, the logo.
There was Pussy, Pescado, and Parents.
No, it was like Pussy Problems, Parents, and something else.
Some drink that starts with a P.
And Pinot, maybe. Patron, Pussy Problems, and Parents.
Yeah, that's what it was.
There were some other things. I think I deleted. We have a
bunch of different notes.
I would say a whole thread, basically, for all of the stuff on the podcast. Yeah, I think I deleted it.
Yeah. So it took a long time for us to get to the name. So how do we finally get to the name?
We just put it on Instagram as a vote.
Basically.
And just went with, and then, so the thing is, it was going to be, because I was so excited to create something, I already was looking into getting like intros to stuff. So I had somebody make like, it was like $5 so on Fiverr. I don't know if you guys heard of that, but it's kind of like a freelancing marketplace. So I bought like a logo for the podcast with "This is why you're blocked, that's why you're blocked," and well-dressed mistakes. And they were only $5, so I didn't feel like it was that bad. And so we were debating between "This is why you're blocked" and "That's why you're blocked," like name-wise. Mm-hmm. So if you ever want to email us, right? It's "This is why you're blocked" at pod@gmail.com, because I was too excited to start. So I've
we haven't gotten any emails, right?
About the podcast? No, I don't have it anywhere because it don't really match our name. But if you want to email us, huh?
We could just do another one. Aren't they free? Aren't Gmail free?
Well, I mean, I already linked everything to it, so.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So this is why you're blocked, and I'll put it in the description if you ever want to send us an email for advice. We can open the form to that.
Please, we would love to hear. Like, the thing is, ladies,
we would actually really want to hear from you guys, things that you want to hear and all that stuff. So we're gonna put the email in our Instagram in the description and all that stuff. All right,
as well as your crazy stories.
Oh, yes,
definitely hear your crazy stories.
I have a really great reading voice. I don't know if you could tell, but like I would love to read your stories.
I'm trying to find one. Did you do that thing? Because I remember one day I asked like on Instagram, I asked like people to send in like crazy dating stories, like crazy dating app stories, and someone actually sent me one. It was, I gotta find it. I'll scroll down, but it was something about there was a woman that he was talking to. It was a guy he sent in. There was a woman he was talking to, and she was a catfish, and he could tell she was a catfish because she would never want to, show her camera or like be on FaceTime for real. The excuses she gave though was that she came all over the phone, and so she couldn't FaceTime because
she got that super soaker.
Because she came all over the phone. But the thing is, men have like low grade like funny stories. Like women be having like the most outlandish stories. I think a man told me the worst like date he ever went on. Like a woman just showed her feet too early, and I was like, "That's it? That's all you got?" Like,
I feel like some people just tell better stories. Because remember that time that I was outside of Golden Corral? This is really off topic.
Yeah, I remember.
And and I was just wow.
Yeah.
Poor lady. But all right,
let's go with where we see ourselves going.
All right. So, what are your goals for this podcast and like upcoming content? Where do you think we can go with this?
I don't know so much about upcoming content. I think it would be nice. I know like y'all love, the Freak podcast, and we do too. But I also think it would be nice to like merge in some other things that we, are blocking. Especially like during this quarantine, like some different ideas are coming up in social media and like major platforms, and I think it'd be really cool to talk about them. Talking about something like the difference between like promiscuity and like just owning who you are and different things like that. But I kind of, once Rona has exit stage left, I think it would be really cool to do like some in-person like type mixer type events. Like
elaborate on that.
I think that'd be so fun. So we want to start off small grade to see like, if we get some people who are interested, but kind of like I don't want to cap it at DMV, but we'll eventually start asking you all to submit videos of yourself, like single, like, hey, my name is X, my name is Ashley, I'm from Largo, Maryland, in PG, and
like how they do on the radio.
Yeah, like basically like that. And this type of niggas I like my niggas, whatever. And then like also have guys, since they're more of our audience anyway, do the same thing, and maybe you'll find someone to slide in your DMs. Like,
so you want to be like you want to have a That's Why You're Blocked matchmaking service?
Kind of, basically, kind of like that. And then, like I said, like once Corona, has exited, and people feel more comfortable like meeting in person. Like maybe we can do like some soft speed dating or some fast, hard speed dating, whatever you're into.
We don't.
I'm not going to judge. Basically, I think that would be like really fun, and then eventually. Were you talking about with that show called Ready to Love?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that? Something you kind of like was thinking about. You remember?
No.
You were talking about having like that kind of version, like on a small scale, but like that kind of version of
what a dating show would look like for people, Black young singles in our 20s. I mean, it may have a version of that now, but just some small scale.
I haven't seen a version of that like outside of. All the ones that I've seen are of white people.
Yeah.
To be fair.
But, okay. But I do recommend everybody watching Ready to Love. I mean, it's just kind of like background TV to me, but like, you know, you got a free day.
Explain it. What's it about?
Okay, so he's on the Steve Harvey morning show, I think. Because I was talking to my mom about it, because I thought it was a Tom Joyner.
Nephew Tommy?
Yeah, he basically had the love show. They're mostly about people or black couples who haven't had the best hand at love. Essentially, they started with like 20 people, and then boys vote off a girl, girls vote off a boy until they get to 3 couples.
Okay, so the only thing about that is like, what if the person you like gets voted off, but you stay? What are they challenges? Like, I'm super into like those dating shows.
I think you can, like, it's hard to describe. I think you should watch a show. But all right, so for me, where I would like content to go in with this podcast, you kind of touched on it. Like, there's a lot of things that we haven't got into. Not to toot, our own horns, but we're pretty educated. We're woke. I would like to have a little more serious conversations about everything going on in the state of the world, relationships. Like, we talk about family and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Trauma within the black community, how we can move past it.
Like, politics, education. We have, between our host stories, we do have a lot of intellectual talk. So I would like to definitely share a little bit more of that. I would like to keep producing content because, as I've stated many times, we still make dumbass mistakes.
Yes, and that is okay. Like, you can be a hoe and make all these other like horrible decisions.
And be
Shout
a
out to
smart
that
person.
podcast.
Yeah, we do like horrible decisions. Did you see your favorite new video came out? I think yesterday.
Megan?
No.
Who?
The Mike Chronicles.
Really?
Video, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to watch that.
Probably when you leave.
Yes, I have to watch that, y'all. My Chronicles just speaks to my soul. It is a great web series on YouTube.
And we give, I think her name is Babyface McKee. Mm-hmm. She does such a good job on like the animation. Like, she produces, I guess they're chapters now, but they're really good. When you think about, it's like an hour long, like, retelling of stories. She does a really, really good job.
Right.
I would kind of want to get to something like that,
definitely,
content wise, but I'm just not skewed. But all right, so back to the podcast. So we definitely want to give you guys more layers to ourselves because we are not. We're many different. How do I want to say this? We wear many different hats.
Yes, many different hats, definitely multifaceted. But we're also still open to, talking about, the premise of what we've been talking about as well.
Hell yeah, we could talk about that all day early.
However, if in terms of like giving us content ideas, like if y'all have questions or if y'all have like topics, like if something is like situational, like something happened to you or one of your homegirls that's really, upsetting you and your homegirls.
We be upset too.
Yes, please. Let us know. We can talk about it. Maybe we can talk about like some advice, like maybe what probably should have been done. Maybe what shouldn't have, like something like that, as well as wild stories. Please prove us wrong, dudes. Like, if y'all have some pretty wild dating stories, let us know. I really would love to hear some.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but we're actually really interested in getting like a male on the podcast.
Yes, but y'all males, please do not think that you coming on, because some dudes have asked you, right, Carson? Like, when am I getting on the podcast?
Well, no, they asked if they would be talked about. And I
if you are tripping, if you are,
some people, I mean,
because sometimes we can't put, certain things on
we're not
episodes
gonna
dudes,
put,
listen.
Yikes, don't do that to me. We're not gonna blast anybody, but we do want to talk about our real life situations. So if you run across me in real life, I'm not gonna put your business out there.
I might.
Unless you're
tripping, unless you got us fucked up.
And some people do.
Yeah, but as far as a male guest, so what are you looking for a male guest?
Just some good vibes. I don't know. See, I like do the editing for the podcast, so I want it to be funny.
Yes.
But like, I don't know if we're funny. I laugh, but like almost anything. I'm kind of corny, so. Funny, but had something to talk about. We want to have some real conversations. We kind of talked about potentially having an episode where how to shoot your shot properly.
Mm-hmm. That's what I really want to hear from a guy.
And then we're just interested in picking a guy's brain, so we just need you to have a brain to pick.
That's a really great way to put it. I don't think I could put it any better, so I'm going to leave it
Yes.
at that. So if you are interested in being that guy, we record in the DMV area.
Yes,
So-
please DM us on our Instagram, and it'll be in the, I don't know if it's description.
Yes.
Wherever you listen to it, because, you know, we're on all platforms.
Baby.
But that's why you're blocked pod on Instagram. But check the link below.
Okay, so what are you currently looking for right now, Carson? Like, in a man, like, are you looking, are you dating? If we talking about, you know, and okay, you know, actually, how about we stop with just what we're looking for in a man? What are we looking for in ourselves? Because the new year's coming up. So what
Okay.
are we looking for in ourselves? And then we'll go to the man.
Well, I would really like to look at myself and be skinnier. So to get, I would really like to get much better control over the way I look and what I'm eating, and getting more into exercise, because I could definitely feel the extra weight that I've been carrying because of quarantine and not going to the gym. I feel a lot stiffer. So I definitely want to get my physical right. I really want to work on my spiritual. That's something I bought things, and like I guess I haven't. What I really got to work on, or how do I want to say this? COVID really took me out of a routine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that I was really productive in life. I was very busy, but I think I do a lot better with a routine of some sort. Like, I'm one of those people, like, when I'm not going to do anything when I'm home. And so I've kind of like just not been doing anything. And I'm, you know, they say object in motion tend to stay in motion. I have a hard time like really starting and being consistent with a very like, I can do it later. Mm-hmm. Like, I need my schedule to be a little more jam packed for me. I feel like to be really productive. Does that? I don't know.
No, that definitely makes sense. Like the days in quarantine that I did not have anything to do, like I did not have work at the beginning. I thought that I gave myself things to do, but it took like I just wasn't doing anything. Like when I really look back on like the way I spent my time, I really wasn't doing anything. And I need something to anchor my schedule. So whether that is a job, like usually the thing is we all for the most part plan things around other things. So if you have a job in the middle of your day, you know what you can do before, you know what you can do after. But if you have nothing in the middle, you're just kind of just winging it.
And like, I feel like that's been my biggest thing. Like, oh, I'll work out later. I'll work out in the morning tomorrow. I'll do certain things. And so I feel like that's what's really suffered with me is kind of like being lazy is easy. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, I've had a really hard time getting back into a really good routine, as well as I've kind of also been struggling emotionally and mentally. We haven't really brought that up, but I guess we're going to get a little vulnerable here. Right? I feel like it's not necessarily a new thing, but that is something I would really, really want to work on. So physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. So every fucking thing. Also, I'm really not good at saving money, especially for a bitch with no like real job. Like I will say that I'm pretty hardworking. Like I could scrap by things. I do a little bit of this. I do a little bit of that. Mm-hmm. Like I want to say like what is it? Jack of all trades,
master of none. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Like I could do a little something. I like tutor, I babysit. Mm-hmm. I do a whole bunch of other things to get some money in my pocket. I have a little thing, but I'm definitely I feel like suffering because I don't have structure in my schedule, and it's kind of like. I have also a really hard time being very strict and disciplined with myself because I'm like it.
Yeah.
Like you tried, but you really didn't. And so that's my biggest thing is I think I kind of like either I'm like, I don't say really harsh or like really forgiving within myself. But I do think I kind of have a lot of things that I really want to work on. I've taken a long time to say, bitch, everything. Everything. I want to work on better communicating with people because I definitely am one of those people that if I'm upset, I probably won't say it.
Nobody will know.
You really like...
Nobody will know. What is that? I haven't heard from Carson in a few days.
Yeah, you hurt my feelings and I didn't know how to say it. So I took some time. And I'm not just thinking that's... I'm glad that I'm not always quick to respond because I have a sister who's kind of like that. And I think that's kind of like the other end of the spectrum. You don't want to be super quick because then you can't take things back. But I'm definitely one of those people that I hold a lot in. Like, I probably hold too much in. And the issue that I've had, and especially with like past friends and like other things, is kind of like, since I don't, going back to the quarter life breakdown, I kind of hold everything in until it's like a teapot, and then you can't. And so then when you open up, invariably, it's not like one thing. Like when I'm like, what's wrong? I'm like, all right, it's 12 things. And then most people don't know how to respond to that. So they don't say anything. So then what happens? I just kind of like, okay, well, I won't open up again. And it kind of feeds itself in the cycle of me not saying anything and just holding it in. So back to spiritually. Like, so I'm looking for Jesus and guidance in prayer. I have not been consistent or good with that. I bought like a manifestation, like law of attraction journal. And
so it was trash.
That was something. I bought another one.
Why?
Because I'm bad with money, and this one seemed better, and I filled it out for like one day, and like it's just been sitting on my dresser since then.
Is it better?
I could write it out. It didn't have enough lines, so I think I've been kind of nitpicky. I bought workout programs for home, for gym. I bought workout equipment for home and the gym.
You just don't have the best follow through, and like that's really what it is.
So that's the thing. One of the things
I would say that probably like sums up a lot of different things. It's like you'll start and then you'll stop. This hoe will literally text me the first 5 days of every goddamn month, and she's like, "Okay, let's do this stretch thing. Okay, let's do this financial freeze.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this whatever." And I'm just like, I'm not signing. I think it was November. I was like, I'm not signing up for anything. And she was like, but you can. I was like, can and will not. Because come November 5th, you're going to be like, yeah, I didn't do it. And I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm tired of starting. I also have this problem, so it's not just you. I'm tired of starting things and not finishing them. So I don't commit to anything now unless I have a pretty good indication I'm going to finish it.
So I guess the thing is, when I'm pretty self-aware. Like, if you ask me what are my issues, I can name it. The lack of consistency and discipline. So it's really, and that causes me, or just in my struggles in life are the result of that. But yeah, I'm one of those people that I always like to start at the first of the month. I'm like, all right, it's a new month. Let's try to save money. And you get to like day 4 or 5, and I go buy some food. And it's like, I gotta start over again. Like, there's this, I had a problem. Bought this little fitness thing, and
what is it?
This is person on Instagram, and that all they talk about is how they have all the transformations they do. Like, they're teaching some sort of like diet and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, and understanding nutrition, which is something I'm actually kind of interested in. I actually kind of want to caveat this and talk about like my ideal man. But because it all ties together. But basically, essentially, they were saying that you want to get rid of, or like basically low carb, like mostly protein, and you're doing an 18-hour fast, 6-hour eating window. And I was trying that. I did one day decently. Day 2, I snacked, and I'm like, fuck. Day 3, I kind of was like, damn, I fucked up some more. So I'm gonna start again on Monday, and so we'll see tomorrow.
Okay, can I go?
Yes.
Okay, well, you gave a whole long thing. That's why I'm over here writing, so I make sure I have something to say. I wasn't going into that detail. But I can hit the same points you hit, because everything you said, I do, like, there's a specific goal I have, like, in that area. So,
almost finished. I realized, I think, I said physically, mentally, I guess to have a better handle on myself, I said I want to work on spiritual, but I didn't give specifics. I think that's my biggest issue too. Mm-hmm. I have like grand goals, and I don't have necessarily a lot of concrete, tangible things that I can, like, I'm like, all right, I want to lose 50 pounds. Mm-hmm. Like, how? You know, like, you got to kind of start small. I want to have a better relationship with the Lord. How? Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of, I need to work on being a lot more concrete and structured. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna start crying because it's about the time for the quarter life crisis. I haven't cried yet in December.
It's day 6.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know, but I am actually a super big crybaby. I'm one of those people that's emotional. Literally yesterday I cried because of the little gay boy on Big Mouth and how his relationship with his mom changed, and I'm like, that just must really suck. Like feeling like either I could have a relationship with my mom or I could be myself. But the crybaby's gonna stop talking now because I will actually start crying, and like that's just not cute. So please let us know what are you trying to work on. Yes, we're supposed to be talking about niggas.
Well, I think I personally think that I don't think I follow Michael Todd. He's a great. I think you do too sometimes, right?
I mean, I've watched his videos. To give a little more insight within my religious background, I'm baptized Catholic, but there's some things that I don't necessarily agree with within Catholicism. And growing up, I wasn't in a super strict religious household. Granted, for another time, it's kind of changed, but we'll put a pin in that.
Okay. So I listen to Michael Todd. So in my spirituality walk, around 2017, I just started noticing. So I was raised in the church. So I think we talked about this in the first episode. I did private school for pre-K through 6th grade, super Christian school. Definitely was raised in the church. Somewhere along the way, my mom, me, my brother, and my dad, we just stopped kind of going to church. In high school, it was kind of on and off.
Do you think it's because you were busier with sports and activities? Because I think that was kind of one of the major things that played a role.
Okay, let me. Okay, I think I'm getting the timeline wrong. So no. So by the time I was a freshman in high school, we were going more regularly to one of the bigger churches in the DMV area. Mm-hmm. But from the time I was and mind you, during this time I actually went to a Christian school. But the school that we went to had a church. My mom was like, I'm not trying to be at this place, this building, more than I have to. Teaching is a really, stressful job. So I think that's what it was. So we were church hopping. We church hopped so much.
That was
from when I was growing up.
The issues I had with the church school that I went to. I didn't go to church there. Mm-hmm. And so, church school has mad politics.
Exactly.
Because I didn't go to the school there, I was kind of bottom barrel and all that stuff. That's why I literally asked them for a solo in the Christmas play because they would never pick me. I literally went up to people.
And you think it's because you weren't a member of the church?
I sang the fucking solo, so it worked. I asked. They say, what does God say? You ask and you shall receive. Okay, I asked and I got it.
Okay. All right, that is the backgrounds of kind of my spirituality. Mm-hmm. But by the time I went to college, I kind of feel like I definitely was not really into church at all. And it was just because I felt it's college. I kind of want to be wild. I kind of mm-hmm. do what I want to do. And I felt somewhere around 2017, which is my senior year, that I just felt really disconnected. Spiritually, and it wasn't a grades thing, and it wasn't I just wasn't happy. I just felt like something was missing. And I was like, let me just try getting back into it. So I started writing in a prayer journal, and I've been doing that consistently, more days out the week than not since 2017. So it's 2020. So I typically write in a prayer journal when I get up. It's a part of my morning routine. And that's how I kind of connect with God. So my spirituality I want to try the Daniel's fast. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to try the Daniel's fast.
We can do it.
Weight, but I've
done it with my friend. And
really?
We lost weight though, but
it's just a byproduct. But I want to do it just to deny myself.
Super spiritual, because the thing is, this is when I was away at school, and I did it. It was with her church, mm-hmm. and so I'm curious for religion. I believe in a higher power. I pray to God every time I get in my car. Mm-hmm. Because I've never gotten an oil change.
Lord. Okay. So, so I want to try the Daniel fast, but it's really just because I want to hear from God. And I want to make sure that, I'm not moving
If you want to do it, I will do it with you. I'm always up for a challenge.
Okay. I want to make sure that I'm not moving, without mm-hmm. guidance from Him. So that's what my goals are spiritually for 2021. Financially, I'm definitely the type of person who likes to look like they have money, but, bank account be, not struggling, but, not fat.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to be the reversal of that. Like, I don't want to just look like I have money or look like I'm financially good. I want to be financially good.
And look like you don't or not?
No, just
you
like...
just want to be...
I feel like more of my energy is put on looking the part and not like being the part. Like, full transparency, my rent is like always late. Usually. And it's because I'll probably buy something else before I pay it. So, like, I just want to make better financial decisions.
I think I've suffered the same thing, too. It's kind of like, I don't know, I was always one of those kids, like, I've been working. Like, I've had a job.
Right.
So been getting paychecks since I was 12. And so, unfortunately, with that mindset, it's like, I find a way to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't think I really learned the proper, like, saving is really simple. Don't spend more than you have.
Basically.
But, you know,
like
I still fuck up that. Like,
I have a budget here. Like, I'm looking at it in the studio right now. Like, I have a budget. It's usually, like, drawn out and stuff. Sometimes I just don't look at it. I'm just like, I would rather get my nails done this week, honestly. And, you know, I gotta buy a ponytail for the month.
I've kind of talked to my mom about that a lot of times, at least with theory-wise. You kind of buy things to feel better. Because and then what ends up happening, it kind of feeds itself. So, like, but then after you make the purchase, you don't feel better. And so now you're feeling really sad and depressed. You're like, well, what makes you feel better? Should I buy food? Should I buy something?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, ideally, we'll work on ourselves. Sorry, that's actually my mom. Look at that.
You spoke her up.
I did.
So, like, the instant gratification of, like, being someone that has money or, like, looks like they have money, but you really don't. But I think you said something about niggas, and I didn't get to finish my point on that.
I'm sorry.
So, you're good. What I was saying is I listened to Michael Todd and with Transformation Church, and he has a lot of messages on spirituality. Obviously, he's a pastor. But about singleness and about how, like, if you're not right, if you don't do what the necessary steps that are needed in your single season, you're going to be fucked up in your relationship. And I feel like I'm someone who's always been in a relationship. I'm a monogamous ass person. And usually they overlap. So I really don't have much of time to just be by myself. So, like, during this single period, I'm really just trying to, like, I've been in therapy. Like, I have a life coach. Like, I'm really trying to make sure that whenever I do get with someone, like, I'm not, I'm not going to scare them off with all my issues. And, like,
do you think those things are helping?
I do. I definitely do. So I experienced a lot of domestic violence in college. And, like, saying that out loud, like, in therapy is really helpful. And, like, I've never told, like, my family, like, at large about that. So it kind of, like, my therapist suggested, you know, you should write a letter to your mom and you should let her know.
I definitely know exactly kind of what that feels like. A lot of times as women, I've not experienced domestic violence, but I've had, is it sexual violence?
Sexual abuse or violence, yeah.
And so, unfortunately, as victims, a lot of times you put a lot of blame on yourself for getting yourself in that position.
And it's, like, embarrassing.
And that's the thing. It's, like, really embarrassing. And you don't realize, I didn't realize I was assaulted till I was talking to my friend. And they're like, baby, that's rape.
Yeah. It's not supposed to happen to you.
And and when I tell you, like, we were literally at, like, IHOP eating. And it was like, it all hit. And I'm like, yeah,
for someone to say you're a rape victim or for someone to say you are a victim of domestic violence, it's like, whoa now. I didn't say all that. I just told you what happened, but I didn't say all that. Like, it's like you don't want to identify with that, but, like, that is what it is. That is the facts. And, like, the more you say, no, that's not me, that's not my story, and it's because we have a certain idea of, like, what that person looks like, what that type of person looks like. We're going to have to part two
this whole thing because this got a little deep.
Is this getting long?
Yeah, but it's not bad. I think that this is we're being honest and genuine, like,
very vulnerable.
And the thing is, we are this, and we are still, you know, we're saying we want to work on ourselves because we do want somebody. We would like to be in a relationship. We
want to be in a healthy one, and I noticed that from that relationship into my last one, like, in the beginning, that man was, like, everything I could have ever asked for, but I had so much baggage thinking that he was, like, the last one, like, I almost probably did, like, ruin, like, a lot of the sweet things, like, within him, or I didn't make it easier. Like, I didn't make our relationship easier. Like, I made it, like, so much harder, like, trust issues and just, like, me just trying to heal from that because it overlapped. Let me see. That was emotional, spiritual, financially. I would definitely like to look smaller in the new year. I was looking at some pictures from 2016. I was like, oh my gosh. This is so bad.
When you look at when you look at a skinny picture of you and you know in that moment you thought you were fat.
Yes.
And it's like, baby girl,
if I could only go back.
I think the thing that I've really got to work on, and this is we're just getting deep. This is gonna be a deep episode. Because we have like a lot of other points we haven't even gotten into. So this will just be part 1. Yeah. So we can come back with the part 2. But with myself, I really struggled with loving myself and seeing the value in me, which is, I'm really gonna say it. I'm gonna cry. But it's kind of, I think that it manifests and it shows in a lot of the situations that I get myself in. Because I don't necessarily see myself super highly, I think I let things just happen. And I am like, you talk to people that you shouldn't talk to, and then you kind of give yourself in a certain sense. But I don't know, I feel like I'm like really giving and really guarded at the same time, and it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm a big cheerleader, but all right, not to subscribe to what's his name, Wale's song Gemini. I feel like it really relates to me, but not just because my birthday's in May.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So definitely, if I could, get back to the size where I thought it was fat. 2016. Yeah, girl. I did a pageant and I wore a bathing suit. When I tell you this bathing suit was like nothing. It was nothing.
Do you have a picture?
I think so. I'll have to show you later. I think so. I think I have my aunt send me one. But when I tell you this bathing suit was not much of nothing, and I got up in front of a stage and it was a Q pageant. And
you did a Q pageant. Wow, you brave.
I thought I told you that.
I think I heard it. I didn't know that there was all that involved. Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of skinny old me, and it's like, ugh, if only. Yeah.
So I like the confidence that I had, like, to wear this bathing suit, and it looked like good on me. Like, I look thick, and I've never been skinny, but it looked like.
That's my goal.
Like,
I'm trying to be slim.
She's always wanted to be skinny. I never want to be skinny. I just want to be a good, like, what everyone. What's the Instagram model? It's the little flat stomach, fat
slim
ass.
Thick.
No, just.
That's what I want. I want to be slim thick. You know the movie Ray, the movie Ray Charles used to go around feeling the wrist. I got a small body wrist. I'm not supposed to be carrying. I'm like, yo, you put your. I'm not supposed to be built for tough like I am right now. I am giving you for runner. I am more of a. I don't know. What's a medium sized car?
Nissan.
I
don't know.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just put this into parts because there's some things that we haven't gotten into, and this kind of got a little deep. And I actually really appreciate you willing to be vulnerable on this podcast.
Same with you. All right, so I'm gonna finish out what I'm looking for in 2021. Yes. It's not too much longer, and then the part 2 will be like, with all of this said, this is the type of guy or the type of relationship and dating partnerships that we would like to have in 2021. So if you cannot meet this standard,
leave me alone.
Bye. but professionally, so I have a full-time job in education. I'm not gonna say exactly what it is. And I'm also in grad school for getting a master's. So when it comes to professional, so hoes also have jobs and getting degrees, degree hotter, yeah. But I feel like I'm the type of person where I'm so hung up on accomplishments because I've always been like the golden child that it's really hard for me to admit like this is hard. Like school is hard, work is hard, and it's like I do miss deadlines at work sometimes, and I like beat myself up about it. So number one, I want to make sure I don't,
I think we both probably would benefit from better time management.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't speak for you, but I
definitely
much.
do. I'm like they gave me this a month ago, and I waited till the day before to do it. And it's something I do with my schoolwork too.
Oh yeah, me too.
And I get really overwhelmed very easily. And
when
I get overwhelmed really easily, I just won't do the work, or I won't make the first step. Honestly, and that's why I got life coaching, honestly. And
I think that's anxiety. Like, I think a lot of, especially, not to get too deep, but Black people, we kind of go through a lot emotionally, and we don't really process a lot. For me, I think that is a form, because I have one of those things where it's like, we have something to do, and you, like, it's a lot of things, like, oh my God, I really need to do this. and just go to sleep. Or maybe
Yes.
that's just me. Like,
no,
like,
I do.
it's like, if I don't do this, I'm screwed. And like, I literally can't. Like, I've definitely struggled with that. It's just been, life's hard. Mm-hmm. And I understand you being like the golden child thing. I think for me, I'm the oldest, and I have a hard time not seeing myself as like, oh, fuck it, I'm the screw up. Like, all right, I'll just, fuck it, I'll wear that hat. And forgiving yourself for past mistakes and like moving forward, it is pretty hard.
It's really big. It's
and
really
I
big
also
step.
am one of those people I have a hard time admitting. I'm one of those people like, I'll be struggling on a boat for like 3 days before I say anything. Like, I am a sufferer. I guess I don't even know if it's silence, but like, I definitely understand what you're saying and feel the struggle and the pressures because you want to set a good example, and you've kind of been, what I think I struggled mostly with is like, I don't think I was ever taught to properly learn what's like how to learn best for me. And so that's what I've really been struggling in post-secondary or secondary education with the fact that I've been relatively smart my whole life. Like, I'm an avid reader, you know, I could make stuff down. I'm a very verbose vocabulary. Throw that word out there again, even though I still can't spell it. Like, I can pull out big words. I'm understanding of a lot of different topics and things. I wouldn't even say I guess it's research when you read articles and all that stuff. But I don't know how to learn something new. And I'm one of those people, like, when it's been pretty challenging, you get really discouraged. Right. And I've been struggling with, or maybe I'm just realizing, I kind of talk really negatively about myself.
You don't say, Carson. Oh my gosh. Like, I really, like,
it's a new year. I'm trying to be pretty reflectful. And so I know my sister and mom got into me because I'm one of those people like, I'm just not that smart. And I'm like, I'm not good at school. I'm not good at math. And it was my sister like, where did that, like, you kind of told yourself that.
And that's what you've been rocking with.
And so you kind of feed yourself into that.
Yeah, well, one thing I definitely learned in 2020 is that you will never outrun, outpace, outwork your own beliefs. If you believe or you identify as this type of person, that is the way you will act. If I know that for me financially, I've never believed that I could be someone who has like $1,000 just sitting in the bank account, not a savings, but like on top of my savings, like just in my checking, just sitting there. Like, I feel like I'm the type of person who has to spend money. So what do? I spend money.
No, that's real.
So yeah, but to round out like what I'm hoping for 2021, what I'm working for in 2021 is better communication, and I have pretty decent communication, but really deepening my relationships. I'm definitely the type of person where at a certain point I'm like, my friends call it the Chanel. So when I'm ready to go, when I'm ready to leave like a social setting, I like clap my hands. I'm like, all right, y'all, well, I'm going to go. So, and I do this like, or at least I did it very, very often in quarantine to the point where they named it the Chanel. They're like, look, every time like we're all like really getting like close or like vulnerable or whatever, like you leave. It's almost like you have a set timer in your mind when to go and you just can't enjoy the moment. And I noticed that a lot about myself. Like, it's very hard for me to just chill and just like enjoy the moment. And I feel like it kind of stops me from having deeper relationships with people.
I feel
especially like when it comes, not so much like my family. I think I have pretty good relationships with my family.
Oh yeah, she and her family is so much nicer than me and mine. I look like a bunch of assholes.
But with my friends, sometimes I feel like I'm not super vulnerable with my friend. Like, if I needed money from you, like I probably wouldn't ask. But like I know, like you've asked me before, and like you paid me right back. But I don't think I've ever been like, look, I really like, I don't have this money. I really need $20
I feel like
quick. It's hard for me to like reach out to friends.
No,
and be like,
I agree.
Hey, like, I need something.
Really struggled with that too, with asking family. It's weird. Like, I'd rather ask like somebody I don't have as close as a relationship with for a favor than like people who would probably have my back. It's just, you just kind of get so embarrassed sometimes.
Yeah. And okay, so I think we can round this out.
Well,
but
I don't know if I rounded out my year. We're just going.
We're just going. But the number one relationship that I want to work on is relationship with my dad. I feel like it's like so background. So I grew up with both my parents in the house. My parents are still married. It's been me, my younger brother, and my parents. And we grew up in a small apartment. I shared a room with my brother. So my dad has always been around, but he's just not like a very expressive, like black male, black father type thing. Like, I came home that says I love you. You never went hungry. You know, food on your table. You know, clothes on your back, roof over your head, type of thing. And like, that's the way he said I love you. So like, the first time I heard my dad say I love you outside of his mouth was during a graduation party, a college graduation party. So I'm 22 years old. I never heard those words from my dad. I'm like, damn, how I've been living with this man.
No,
and our relationship is stagnant. And him and my brother have like, you know, that father son. You know, I'm gonna test you. You know, you're gonna test me type of relationship. But me and my dad's relationship is so freaking stagnant. Like, it's,
I feel like,
and I feel like I never want to get where I want to get with men until like that relationship is strong. I'm moving this week, and it took my mom asking me 3 times. Call your dad. You know your dad will just buy the truck for you. You know he'll come up here and just pick up all your stuff for you. I don't know why you asked. It's like, I don't know. I feel it's weird. Like, I can't.
I definitely feel you on like my dad's been in my life my whole time. My parents are married. I feel like my parents' marriage is a little different than her parents' marriage, but I definitely feel like I have a weird relationship with my dad. I would say it's kind of really shallow. Like, we've never had, like, serious talks. And so...
Does it feel action-based? I feel like I only call my dad when I need something. If we were to sit down in a room and just no one else is there, or we went out to dinner, I wouldn't know what we were talking about.
And the sports.
Me and my dad went to the same school, and as soon as we're done talking about what's ever going on with that school, like, that's it.
I was going to say, I feel like
had a job in education. So that's it. That's all we talk about. That's about it.
Yeah, so... It is kind of, I feel like with my relationship with my dad, I think that it hasn't, my mom is very blunt and she's a little extra sometimes.
The first thing I heard come out of Carson's mom is, niggas ain't shit. And that is how I associate her.
So a lot of the things that I kind of learned within relationships and stuff kind of came from my mom, and she has a very pointed view. So that's the thing that I wish my dad and I were better at. You know, talking, and he gave me a little bit more game. Because, like I said, you made a good point. I don't know if I really want to, the relationship I really want to get deeper with and fix is the relationship with myself. That's really corny.
No, it's not. It's not.
But I definitely feel you on the, like, anybody that's a dad and you have a daughter, like, don't be afraid to have conversations with her, because the information is out there. Like, it should be better to get it from somebody who loves and cares and is not going to take advantage of her. And I feel like that I may have been in certain situations because you kind of don't know. I honestly, like, I can't even think of, has your dad ever bought you like Valentine's Day gifts and stuff?
So not at the latter part of college. So around,
I was like,
my mid college career, like junior year, my mom got in a really, really bad accident. Like, her whole entire leg was shifted around. She was in a hospital, and my parents' marriage has been like, it had been, full transparency, shitty for like a good, like, if I could count it, at least 10 years that I can recall, like, straight. Like, they talk, live in the same house, but I just didn't feel like, I didn't really feel the love bouncing off like I feel like I should have for having married parents. And I lived in an apartment building, and there's a whole lot of daddyless daughters in there, and they were looking at me like I was an alien because I had a dad in the home. And I'm like, I mean, it's cool, but it's not like what I see on TV. So during my mid-junior year, my mom got in a really bad accident, and my dad was there every single day. Like, something changed and shifted in him. That was in January of 2017, so we're getting ready to come up on it again. After that, I got some Valentine's Day cards. After that, that's when, like, I first heard I love you. Like, after that is when I started seeing, like, a shift in him, because I think he realized, wow, like, if my wife were to die, I don't know my children.
Interesting. I feel like my dad and I, he just knows kind of what's going on, but I don't think we have, like, a super open relationship. I don't know if I even have that with my mom. And I think that's something I've kind of struggled with too. I'm definitely more of like the black sheep in my family. Like, I'll be in my room. I'm kind of like a loner. My mom calls me a cat. I'm like, I'll only come out, if I want to be bothered. Like, and so when I think of, like, I don't think I've received Valentine's Day gifts from my dad. I mean, he's probably said I love you, but do you know this Negro, right? When I was an impressionable 12-year-old.
I knew you were going to bring this up.
Told me I was a 7 out. That shit still hurts my feelings. I still don't feel like I'm a 10 out of 10.
Oh my God.
Said I was a 7 out of 10. Who tells their 12-year-old that?
I don't know, but dads out there, if you are listening and you are a dad, or if you know a dad, if you are an uncle or something.
Listen to either.
But just to, oh no, it's not. But just to, if we can tell you anything, some type of advice to take away from this episode, specifically, you know, we are way, way off, and we're probably gonna have to close this out soon. Yes. But please, like, just, it's not enough to be there.
Yes.
Like, your physical presence is cool and everything.
It's important. And
it's very important, but
I think, before I say this, I kind of talked to my mom about it. I think for a long time, we as Black people have been on, like, survival mode. Mm-hmm. And so you know, like, when your body is just trying to survive, there's certain things that they prioritize. And I feel like being really vulnerable and affectionate as family members has something that we really haven't as a people done. And so we carry, this might be silly, but I feel like we carry, you know, the trauma from our ancestors and past and stuff. And when you think about it, getting a little off topic, we've only really been free, quote unquote, for what, 60, 70 years? And
barely.
Opposed to the 300 years and all the things that has gone on within slavery. So I do, because I had a conversation with my mom and stuff, like, they weren't really affectionate people. And that's because your parents weren't affectionate, because they had to work, because it was like, I can't be here and love on you. We need money, and we're not getting paid enough. So I think the most important thing, I think, for us in our generation is to realize, you know,
there's another way. Like, the way we've been doing it isn't working. And I'm also loving the new bars set for dads. Like, the dad bar is being set really high this time. It really should. Like, I've never understood why.
But I don't want to say our dads are bad.
No, it's not it at all.
Yeah,
it's just they come from absolutely. They come from a generation where they didn't have to do much. And as long as you were providing, that's it. And I think that's kind of where our relationship has, like, stood. Provides. Like, my dad still, I think you're still on your dad's insurance.
Yeah. No.
You're not?
My mom's insurance.
Oh, your mom's insurance.
But yes.
My dad, I have a full-time job, and my dad, it's like that one thing he cannot let go of. He wants me on his insurance because it's another way that he's providing for me. Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't provide for me in any other way at this point, because I'm grown. Like, I have a job. I have a place. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't have to give me money or buy food for me anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really hard for him to just, I'm like, Dad, like, I have my own. I really don't need you to do this for me.
Yeah,
like, so no, you never know. And I'm like, all right, that's something that he feels like, yeah, I'm still providing. I feel like that's still his mindset, and that's how he's parenting. And I'm like, at this point, at 24, I need to know that you're proud of me.
Well, yeah, and then think also, like, you know, your love language. We're just so off topic, y'all. We just talking and shit. Fuck it, why not? Because I heard, I think it was like your love language would have been the things that you were missing growing up. Mm-hmm. And so for mine, I think it's like acts of service, words of affirmation, and things like that. And I remember one time, though, my dad was like, dang, almost slipped up, dang, Carson, like, you really have a busy schedule, like, you're really working, I'm proud of you. And I was like, I fucking started crying, because I'm one of those people that, like I said, I've been doing a whole bunch of things. In the summer, normally I'm really busy. I'm working 3 or 4 jobs in, like, one day. And I was doing all this before I had a car. Like, it was just a whole bunch of moving pieces. So we do love the way that I feel like our generation is seeing the things that are happening and are making active changes towards it. And Definitely. To be better people and have better relationships. I saw a mom was telling her son, like, hey, if you don't want me to hug you, you should tell me, and that's okay. I don't want, like, if you don't want that. Mm-hmm. And just having a better relationship with yourself, definitely, it creates better people. So I think we're kind of rounding out of. We're gonna work on us.
We are.
We're gonna talk about y'all next week. This is the episode about us.
Yes, and I think next week we should get even more into love languages, like just defining it, because some people may not know, you know, what theirs is, or even what they are. Like there are 5, like what they are. So I think we'll do that. That's
another thing that when you want to get closer to somebody, there's a lot of things that you've got to be willing to learn and adjust to be with somebody.
So 2021, no more superficial relationships.
Yeah. I mean, my ideal relationship is 3 boyfriends. So I'll just leave on that.
And I believe we are out.
On that note, all right.